Happy Friday. Today is Friday, August 8th, 2025. I'm Sweets. This is Sid. This is our Friday check-in where we recap what we have shipped this week with Recoup. To kick it off how we always do, I'll start with in one word, how are you feeling today? And in one sentence, what do you need today?
I'm feeling anxious, but I also just drank like 2 cups of coffee. So I think that's leading to my jitters. Um, what do I need today? I need good energy, good vibes, positive affirmations. Let's go. What about you?
Like you're no longer on a carrot fast.
I'm not. I ate a piece of chicken yesterday.
Nice.
Didn't tell the
Drinking
difference.
coffee this morning.
Yeah.
I'm feeling on a comeback after the setback of being sick, and I need proper orientation for how important billing is.
Okay.
To start, I'd love if you could share screen and we walk through the create artist flow to see how the changes we made look on your side.
Let's
What
do
do you
it.
think?
Sounds good. Let me share screen. Entire screen. All right. Log in. Sweet. All right. Nice. 5 mini. Let's fucking go. So let me delete this and start fresh. Oh, well, now I know our new artist, but let's go new artist.
So the biggest change you're going to see if you're watching this video is GPT-5 Mini is the new default model. This was a new model released by OpenAI yesterday, and it is now available for musicians globally by default when you use Recoup.
So let's do chill pill because that's usually my test.
I'd love if you could shout out, because you test this pretty often, how this model or these changes feel compared to a week ago when we had Gemini without these latest changes.
So far so good. I picked the right one. I've never seen the optional helpful info, so that's new. I don't know if it's good or bad. But let's not focus on the random stuff. Let's focus on what it's currently doing. Let's see. That's a little weird that it doesn't show the reason. Oh, it shows the reasoning here. So there's a couple reasoning steps that like doesn't have any information. I don't know if that's a bug, or I guess it would be a bug, right? But it's not a breaking change bug, I don't think.
Yeah, I find that each model handles reasoning differently, which has been something interesting to see. GPT-5, it seems like it takes, sometimes it'll take multiple reasoning steps. Sometimes it'll do an empty reasoning step. Sometimes it'll just do one reasoning step. And other models will do reasoning in very different ways. Like you'll see a lot of the Chinese models will throw like multiple different reasonings in parallel.
It's doing good so far.
What are you looking for when you look at this to judge whether or not it's successful? Are there any specific tool calls or steps that are most important in this to create the wow moment that you like to replicate with musicians?
Yes, it's usually just showing that it can find the right stuff and doing that correctly. This is something that I keep noticing as it keeps creating the knowledge base. After the Spotify, after the Spotify research, but before web research. This wasn't how it was when we had Claude 3.7, it created the knowledge base after Spotify deep research, socials, and web search. So it seems like what it's going to do is create a knowledge base file specifically about the Spotify information. Let's see. Yep. This is new, which I noticed today or yesterday when we added this, is it's adding summary of actions taken to the text file, which is obviously unnecessary for what we're doing. And then it's also adding next recommended steps to this text file. So it's almost like this is like more, it should be like a to-do or like notes file that it uses to like continue its path instead of storing that specific thing as deep research. Let's see. Then it's doing web search. Let's see where we're at. The official socials, Instagram, no Twitter, TikTok. It couldn't find the YouTube. It couldn't find the website, which is interesting because it's listed on the Chill Pill. Additional context, another Instagram profile, but does not correspond. Okay, cool. So it didn't find other social handles, and it should be a YouTube and a website. Let's see what else. It did a lot of blank reasonings.
Reasonings, yeah.
No, look. Okay, there's just one. Yeah, then a bunch of other blank ones.
Check the next set. See if it's the same.
Preparing final message, final. So yeah, those two are different. Oh, look, there's a couple blank.
So that's coming back from the model.
Oh.
We could filter it and not show if it's empty. That's an error from Coinbase SDK's Paymaster. For some reason, the Paymaster is throwing null sometimes. And I recommend we switch to in-process API. That way, we just rely on in-process using a Paymaster, and we don't. But we can also update our Paymaster if we want.
Whatever is easier for you, or whatever you recommend. Should I rerun it because it didn't generate this text file? Or continue? All right, wait, let's just keep continuing. All right, and then it says create segments, but it says failed to create artist segments. All right, and then let's see the final run and what it did. All right, so the pros is that we got all the way through without telling the user that it's doing something, but it wasn't doing it. That's a positive. That's a fix. I don't know if that is because of your update to the in process, or what was it? The
prepare step
or the model, or both, but that's a plus. Where it failed is the deep research. It did not create a sufficient knowledge base that will arm the AI with the information to give the user a better experience than ChatGPT or Claude about this artist. Or if we want to even simplify it, the whatever we were doing with in 3.7 was generating a better knowledge base than current. And finally, it didn't, it seems like it's not doing web search as deeply as it was previously. I don't know if that's an issue with the model or if that's an issue with the prepare step. I don't know where that bottle, or like I don't know what changed in order to downgrade our web search capabilities. But that's the biggest thing I think is like the web search is not going deep enough, and so we're not getting enough information into the knowledge base. Other than that, I think that the models responds cooler and it got all the way through. So that's a positive.
What specifically is missing from web search that needs improved?
So let's go back up. Expand. So it seems like it's just okay. Well, okay. So there's, if I remember correctly, there's 2 points in which we call web search. One to get social profiles that we haven't gotten yet. And so in that case, the web search didn't get all the social profiles like it used to. It didn't get the YouTube. It didn't get the website. And then it didn't get the additional information that we were getting previously, like all of the nuances about the artist's career stage, marketing campaigns, PR and press, fan insights, like all of that extra stuff other than Spotify data is missing. It seems like that's from the web search, but it also may be. It also may be the fact that it didn't.
Tell it to try again to generate the text file.
Yeah, let me try.
So you said artist info is missing, career highlights, collaborations. What else?
Well, wait, hold on. You know what? Let me stop. Okay. Oh, that was a question. This is just like a little thing is, remember we couldn't get in V4 the stop button to work? I had a question of, does it work now in V5?
I get it to work when I click the stop button and then I type words in the box and send it.
Oh, and then it works? It's because we have it set so that you can't click that if no words are there?
That sounds accurate.
All right, cool. Let me just do this because I want to test it again. We should not go off of one test. Let's create a new artist. Let's go. Dun, 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 dun. Artist socials found. Oh, that's the ones from Spotify. Let's see. Oh no. Nope. Oh, that's new. Should I click that? No, I don't want to fuck it up. While it goes, what are your thoughts on this? Is it just like, um, is that an easy fix of just like updating when it creates the knowledge base file? Is it just in the wrong sequence right now, you think?
Veerball explicitly added this week. It's generating 2 knowledge bases.
Oh,
One after it finishes Spotify deep research and one after it finishes artist deep research.
got it.
So it absolutely could be removed. It was intentionally added by Veerball for a reason that he is not here to discuss with us on this call.
Got it.
And he did not tell me before he shipped it.
Yeah. All right. Well, yeah. So the issue with that is that I guess then in these new knowledge base, it's adding unnecessary information about the next steps in the run. Let's see the actual web search results. All right, here we go. Instagram, it gave me the branding. YouTube, it found a specific artist run personally managed by YouTube. Other social media. It's found SoundCloud. That's good. It didn't find the website, but I guess that might be hard to find. It didn't include the YouTube number. Remind me later. I've already called update artist socials as instructed, but the developer wants me to do it again as a response. That's fine. I'm setting profile image and genre to hyperpop. I've attached the research file named Chillpill. Okay, cool. Expand display name. All right, it found the Spotify follower. Oh, it found its website here. All right, cool. All right, here's the other text file. Oh, and the second text file is just more like the response, it seems like. And now it's creating segments. So yeah, I guess the problem is more about, I don't know. What do you think? What are your thoughts when it comes to what's going on?
It seems like we need to make a better system prompt for the second one to better tell it what is missing. So you said you want career highlights, you want collaborations. What else specifically do you want in this second knowledge base?
It is in Slack. Give me a sec. Here we go. Okay, so here is version 4 versus version 5. Let me see a version 4. So artist overview, career highlights, styles and influences, discography with notable do you want me to just send you this?
Yeah, send that directly in Sweets and Beerball. And say knowledge base is still not, knowledge base needs to match this reference.
Got it.
At Beerball.
Just in the general? You want me to tag you or no?
No, this is a Veerball task. Knowledge base needs to match this reference. in create new artist toolchain.
Okay. Cool.
Got it.
All right, where was we? Here we are.
So we've got failed text file, second text file needs to match the Slack reference, remove next steps from the original one. You say web search is not deep enough, it's missing social profiles.
I don't know. I mean, I said a lot of stuff, but the reality is like it just needs to match. Like the whole purpose of this is that it pulls the correct knowledge, like it creates the correct knowledge base so the user can like use this, So
So the only one that really matters is that the end knowledge base matches the reference in Slack.
Correct. Yeah. Add knowledge base matches the reference in Slack. Second is the little reasoning bugs that we found.
What do you want? How do you define this as a reasoning bug? What do you want the action to be taken? Because that's what the LLM is returning us.
Like you had mentioned, if it's blank, just don't show it.
Copy. What else needs improved in the create new artist flow before Virbal stops working on this and moves his attention to some other project?
Let me see. Give me a second. Instagram, TikTok, connect you to this. I think that's good. I think that's it.
Knowledge base, the final knowledge base needs to match the Slack reference, and any reasoning dropdown that does not have text should not be shown.
Yeah. Do you want me to, well, actually, quick question for you. Do you want me to add any other net new things to the create new artist flow that I've been doing manually, or do you want to just stick to like, let's just get it back to the way it was, and then we'll add new features later?
I would orient that question around your goal of getting an enterprise $5,000 per month customer. Do whatever suggestions you have. How are those going to move you closer towards securing a $5,000 month enterprise customer?
Okay, cool. So I'll add one extra step, if he can, to this list, which is what I'm doing manually when I'm creating these new artists. Is I'm going to the artist's Instagram, screenshotting a couple pictures of the artist, and adding them to the knowledge base so that it has a visual representation of the artist when creating images.
That'll be an API. That specifically is Apify related, and Apify is blocked until August 16th, I believe, when your billing reset.
I added money to the temporary one, so we should have credits for Apify. But
has Virbal changed the limits to make sure that we're not, every time he runs the most famous artist in India, it charges you $1,000 or $200?
I am not sure if he did. Yeah, I'm not sure. I thought you had updated that and shipped that because he asked you to. Although I don't know if he did for local.
I might have. Okay, so you want create new artists to scrape Instagram, and you want to add a knowledge base of image URLs from the Spotify Instagram scrape.
I don't know if what the LLM needs to reference those, if it can use a URL, or if it needs like an actual image, like .png or .jpeg. I
How
think
many
it
of the latest posts do you want to attach as knowledge base files?
3.
3 images. Copy. So most important, knowledge base needs to match the Slack reference. Second most important, empty response dropdowns need to be hidden. Third most important, scrape Instagram needs to attach 3 images from the scraped Instagram profile as knowledge bases to the artist.
Cool.
Is that accurate?
Yeah.
Copy. So that is create new artist flow. Would you mind trying to create a release report?
Ooh. Yeah. Let me log out. Let me log in with a more usable let me find the literal one. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, Pink Panthers. Let me go to Figma. Let me go to campaign report evals. Let me go to the Pink Panthers one. Boom. Okay. And then what would you like my prompt to be?
However, you or Sam will create a release report.
I mean, I'll just make it. I'm going to just say this because we're going to assume it's going to be a weekly run. No.
Have you tested this toolchain before?
I have not. I'm excited.
Okay, so there's no baseline to reference here, but we'll get your first take.
Or no, we tested it last week when you created it with like blank. But you didn't fill anything in. It was just like the base tool. Ooh.
So Virbal worked on the create new artist toolchain. I worked on this toolchain. It looks like you have not connected YouTube for us to be able to get information on if the artist is publishing videos to YouTube, but it then goes into the Spotify and checks if to try to find the song you're mentioning on. So it checks both YouTube and Spotify. For artists like myself, I publish more on YouTube, so YouTube's a better source of truth. For artists like Pink Panthers, Spotify is going to be a better source of truth. Getting the artist album seems like it's stuck, pending.
While it's doing this, I have a question about getting the artist album.
Okay.
During our initial run, we're scraping all of the information about the artist's Spotify. We say that as a text file, but then it's should. I mean, maybe this is a like make it awesome moment later down the line, but like, should we store all of like the information of like the artist's releases so that doesn't have to always do these scrapes, and it just like has like all of the song information from that initial scrape in the knowledge base?
What value is the popularity info in the info that is fed in a time-based context, information that changes each time you query it?
That's valuable.
And so if that information is valuable, why would we store a proxy of that information rather than, what is the benefit of storing a proxy of that information in our database, which could be invalidated over time, as opposed to just directly querying the API each time that's needed to get the source of truth?
I guess the value would be tracking the changes over time. But I guess, yeah, that's not a huge value prop right now. So we're good. I see what you're saying.
Seems like it's stuck in a loop of
Should I
trying to get
stop it and try again, or should I let this run?
I'm curious what profile you have connected to the Spotify.
I have this one. Should we check it out?
Yeah, see if that's a real profile. Just open a new tab.
I have open Spotify. Oh, you're right. I have to just open a tab, huh? I don't know if I'm logged in. Oh,
Okay, so it looks like the profile you have connected is invalid, which makes sense why it is
not
stuck in a loop.
finding it. I wonder why I didn't add the right one. So should I just find?
There was a bug months ago where we were lowercasing all the social URLs, including Spotify. And so if this artist profile has not been updated in months, it is likely with an outdated Spotify URL.
Ah,
I recommend you open up Spotify, you find their profile, and you paste the correct link, or you tell chat to find the correct Spotify link.
I do it quickly. Oh, that's not good. We gotta update that.
Is that correct that you have not updated this artist in months?
Since I onboarded it, so yes.
The URL that you're looking at looks the same with different capitalizations. So that's an error that has been fixed. You can just copy it from the top. All that you need to copy is that last little bit of the string. But you can see that it's 78 UR here saved in the chat, and it's also 78 UR here. The difference is here it has a capital U, here it does not, and Spotify needs the correct capitalization. So
Got
from
it.
now, could you scroll back up to the top, copy your original prompt?
Start again.
Yeah, and maybe also do the stop. I didn't realize it was because of text needing to be entered like that. Type in just one letter and then click stop. Okay. Wow. Yeah. Nice.
All right,
That's a bug that we could easily fix.
Here, while it's doing that, you can see I added 2 screenshots for this one. Let's see if it has it. This one was just her album cover. Or no, that was an Instagram. And like it's just an Instagram photo that I grabbed. I also have been adding a bunch of these little custom instructions, but I guess we might be able to like add those to the back end.
We can add that in the tool chain if it's important. YouTube's going to fail. Then it should jump into Spotify.
Yeah, there we go. Good call. So I should just go and just check all artists that Spotify's to make sure that they're not all lowercase, huh? and just update
Yeah,
them.
yeah. I was wondering if we should have a script that iterates over and does that check and updates it automatically in the database. But so far, we have not justified that in the list of priorities on a weekly basis. But
Yeah, I can do it manually.
for our more legacy customers, I'm still leaning into we're going to have more new customers than we have existing ones. And any new customer, it's not going to be an issue. But if you find that this is a consistent thing, then yeah, let's focus more time on it.
Let me do manually and see how long it takes. And if I hit a wall where I'm like, holy shit, then I'll vibe code it. Visual traffic's nice. Oh. All right, we got one here. Track level. Oh, cool. And then it adds it to the.
I had it add them as a knowledge base.
This is cool. The only issue is that if we set this up as a weekly action, will it just keep creating?
And appending. Can you see if you got the email?
Yeah. Oh, where's my email?
That's not that one. No, you should have gotten
a specific. No, it's not going to send me because something's broken with my email. That's why I had a +1. Fuck. I think it sent it though. I'm like.
Can you ask it what email did you send to? What email did you send the release report to? Maybe try changing the dropdown for LLM too. I don't know how much you played around with switching up the LLM.
I did a lot last night.
Oh, okay. If you've already played around with it, don't worry about it.
It's fucking awesome. Sydney. Where's my +1? Yeah, that's why I set the other one up.
Which is GPT-5 your favorite, or have you tried enough to have an opinion on the other models?
GPT-5 is my favorite so far. I haven't tried I tried the popular ones. I haven't dove into Llama Mini 447,
Alibaba, you didn't try.
Oh, this isn't.
So it seems like it's sending to an incorrect. It's hallucinating the to email. So let me make a note on that. On the release report, what are the most important? If there's one single thing after this that needs improved before Sam's call?
Oh, well, give me a second.
You have it. You should have gotten it in an email.
Here
it is.
Here is the report. Give me a second. Let me literally do this.
Change that to today's date of 8 August. 8 August benchmark.
8 August benchmark. And then this was what?
GPT-5 mini.
Mini. V. All right. And then let me just pull this a little over. Let me remove this. And This stuff we're not going to get. He'll have to give that, supply that, because that's all that.
What is
But
that?
these are like the assets that they have, like box links for the release.
Sure.
Um, which we can figure out later, like if they want to be able to store those to include. But I think right now, okay, we can really release legal summary. So illegal released is this single by Pink Panthers. The track saw immediate virality driven by TikTok. Let me just make this bigger. Okay, so the first thing, without the data, I mean, do you want me to just list one most important thing you're saying?
Yeah, and what I've written down based off of you taking the action of putting the txt file beside the other is the text file needs to match the reference, same as
Yes.
create new artist.
Yeah, that's the number one thing, is if we can,
Cool.
how close can we get ours to match theirs?
Yeah, so both of the tool chains we need so both Veerball and I need to be thinking along the same lines of how do we attach an output file from which it is making all the tool calls so that it is constantly working towards that goal. And that's the goal that it is striving to achieve is I need to generate a document which matches this reference for this specific context.
Correct.
Okay, cool.
The
Other
one,
than that, what else do you
wait.
see?
I want to make you aware again, just to make sure. This part, assets or a legal toolkit, you don't need to include, because
Right. Yeah, you said that's from their team.
Yeah, I want to make sure anything else. Let me see. TikTok stories so far. No, we'll leave that. Yeah, everything else, like, let's try to match.
Cool.
Sweet.
So those are the main changes. Go ahead and give me it back. Small other changes, which you've likely already seen if people are using the app, is we're now using Vercel's AI components here. So before we were manually writing and maintaining our own web components, we're now using their chat input with their buttons down here. A drop down. This is reading. Let me see if I've got the code open. Here's how I'm doing get available models. So the model list is dynamically generated. We don't manually define these. These are coming in. We're getting all available models from Vercel's AI Gateway. And then what I'm doing is I'm filtering it here for anything that has an input cost of less than 50 cents per million tokens, an output cost of less than $2.50. And that's what's defined by, I believe, Gemini is our upper bound on output tokens. And on input tokens, I just made up 50 cents. And then we do over 0 for output, because if it is 0, it is an embedding model, which only has an input pricing and it can't be used in chat. So this is currently how we're filtering it. From here, we could be more explicit, less explicit. We can change the rules. But when you use Recoup, this list is populated from all available models and then filtered on those rules. Less expensive than 50 cents per million for input, which is where we spend the bulk of our runway, and then output of $2.5 per million, which we don't do a lot of output tokens. Even on long runs, it's nothing compared to how much we're chucking in on the input. From here, we can expand it more. Like as people pay, we include all models. Like we don't have actual GPT-5. We only have Mini and Nano. We don't have any of the Claude models because they're very, well, I guess we have Claude 3 Haiku, which is a really old Claude model. It might be overwhelming. Like there might be ways that we want to sort this more, but so far these should be all the models that we are more or less okay with giving for free, because they're not going to make a major impact into our burn. Going back to what we had as our weekly goals, on my side, it was release report. It should be on par with the reference, which it is not. Veerball, create new artist was also knowledge base on par with Claude 3.7. So neither of us hit our goals for this week in terms of doing that. Some notes that we had made last week was that our blocker was create new artist, the prepare step. We wanted to do tool override. That was a hypothesis last week that would work. It does work. You had a question, is it working because it's GPT-5 mini or because it's prepare step? It's because of our prepare step. It doesn't matter what model you pick, it's going to execute all those tools. However, the model you pick will determine the quality of those tools being run. And so where we're at now is we now can define these tool chains, and then the prepare step lays it all out. And how we're doing that is we, inside of the chat API, no, it's right here. Inside of our prepare step, we have a get next tool by chain. This is a whole bunch of logic that determines the sequential positioning of the tool chain. And then here are our tool chain maps. So we've got one for create new artists, which Veerbal is managing and running. He was the one who built in the original framework for how we're doing this. And then create release report, which is what I'm working on. And so this is the ordering of the tools. And so like you said, hey, it's generating a knowledge base in a text file right here after Spotify, and it's also doing it at the end. So if Sid doesn't like that it's doing it after Spotify, all that we have to do is delete that, and then it's no longer doing the first one and it's only doing the second one. If Sid says he wants it to, what else did Sid say? He wants to scrape Instagram. And so then we just add into here of a scrape Instagram, and this is how we modify our tool chains now. And we guarantee that regardless of the model that's picked, it's going to execute exactly like this. Whereas before we were able to define, before with Claude 3.7, we would, inside of our tools like create artist, we would define the chain in here. This is not reliable across different models. And so while on some models like Claude it does work, on others it does not. Moving forward, we will not do this. And this text is redundant and will be deleted because it's not helpful across models. What we can rely on, and what this week we were able to prove to ourselves, is this does work. Using the prepare step, explicitly defining the tool that should get called in the sequence is getting us to execute those tools. If we need to specify a system prompt, like here we want to use the name, the image, and the label. The name and the image are now getting set, and that's as a result of also setting the system. And so we can tweak things like tool name, the system, etc., and that is working across all the models. Now we just need to actually get it matching the outputs. I have a feeling what we're going to do for that is modify the message, one of the other things that we could be modifying in these tool chains. And inside of the message, append the reference document, or the reference documents, plural. That way it is constantly seeing that the latest message that's being sent from the human is, here's the document that you should be outputting. Here's the document you should be outputting. That way, whatever tool call it's doing, it has that reference from the, it has that reference. Blocker is now solved over there. Release report, the tool chain is now built. It does send an email. It does use a tool chain. The output is not matching Sam's ref. So out of the things that I wrote of the subpoints, the main goal is the Sam ref. That was the one thing I did not get, but it is sending emails. Email is buggy and needs fixed, and it's not matching Sam ref. So those were the main set of shipments that we did on the last week. Do you have any feedback on our shipments on the dev side, or questions?
Questions?
Yeah.
About for the release report toolchain, did you use the update system prompt?
Are you're talking about here where we create the knowledge base and attach the knowledge base?
No, you had mentioned earlier that like with the new V5, you're also able to like update system prompts for specific tool chains.
Right, here's an example. So when we generate the text file, the system prompt that I'm overriding is create a release report with the information you gathered out about the release across Spotify, YouTube, and web search.
Got it.
Short and simple for now, but I can expand it based off of the feedback that I'll be doing during testing. Yes, this is exactly how we're setting that system prompt right here.
Got it. Okay, cool. Second question is, we currently have create artist, and we now have a create artist tool chain.
create release report and create artist. Those are our two tool chains that we have defined so far, and any new tool chain moving forward we'll define here.
And tool chains are a collection of tools chained together. Haha, that's great. So what do we no longer need the create artist tool?
That's a great question. Yes, that tool is essential for telling us that the tool chain needs to be called. That initial create new artist tool, when that is called, is what triggers and says, okay, now that that tool has been called, all these other tools must be called in the sequential ordering. And so unlike an agent, which is just text being defined and does not have a tool chain, when we want specific tools to be called, we create the initial tool, and then we create a set of follow-up tools that happen after that tool gets called. That way, the initial tool, all that does is then forces the tool chain.
Love it. Got it. Okay, that adds a lot of clarity moving forward. Second question is, how can I put this? If we currently have specific deep research tools for very specific runs, right? Like artist deep research, Spotify deep research. Which then, let's make it real. Can you jump into like one of our deep research tools
in the code?
Yeah.
Here's artist deep research.
And so, question about this was this updated to now I guess what's my question here? This specific tool gets called during the tool chain and then runs this specific deep research, right? You now have to go build another deep research to into like your create art or create release reports, right? Like we have to continuously build specific separate deep research tools. My question is like, let's say we wanted to create like a deep research mode where if you just press the button, it like all of the things that you all of your queries kind of like use the tool run, or not the tool run, but the loop, the agent loop of like doing deep research. That where does that live in the architecture of like it's like not a tool chain, but it's also not like a specific niche tool like for a specific run. It's more of like a general tool.
Why isn't it a tool chain?
Well, that's my question. Okay, so you kind of answered my question, but then I have a follow-up question then. If that's a tool chain, could you build that where like that tool chain like wraps other tools? Do you know what I'm saying?
You're saying make tool chains composable?
Yes.
Stack tool chains?
Correct. So like that way, like
instead of here, we're defining create knowledge base, generate text file, update account. Same thing in create new artist is probably better. It does create knowledge base, generate text file, update account info, and then it does create knowledge base, generate text file, update account info. So we've
correct.
manually defined the same thing twice. What if there was an additional one of create knowledge base in it? Anytime that tool chain gets called, it does all three of these. And then inside of here, we delete these two and just do create knowledge base, and then it auto executes those other tools.
Correct.
We absolutely could build it that way.
We don't need to. I was just asking, like, what that was my question. Like, what's is there a specific reason for the repeat, the repeated?
So right now we're the biggest thing that I'm customizing here is the system prompt for the specific context. So far we have not done it so much, but moving forward we could. I think that's a great thought of how can we make them composable. Follow-up question could be how much customization do we want of these primitive tool chains inside of these bigger tool chains? How much do we need to customize the create knowledge base tool chain specifically for the create new artist flow and the 2 times it's being called there? Same thing for the create segment report or for the create release report. How much do we need to customize the how different is this usage of create knowledge base and that primitive tool chain within the create release report? How much do we need to customize it? If there's a lot of customization needed, it likely makes sense for us to just keep redefining it. I think that's a great open question, is how do we make these more composable to prevent duplicated code?
Yeah.
Make it more maintainable over time, without spending too much time over engineering. For right now, I think our goals are to get this to match the output file. And so let's copy and paste however much code is needed to get it to match the output file. And then as these start to get longer, start to ask the question of, okay, we've repeated the same piece of code multiple times. It's been duplicated 5 times. Let's not repeat ourselves, find a way to make this more composable. So that way, one, it reduces the amount of code inside of the existing tools. And then anytime we have a new one, we can learn from what we've already learned, building out these tool chains to make future ones.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Got it. Yeah, I agree. It doesn't need to be done now, but I was just I was diving into the code last night, kind of trying to figure out like the new architecture for V5 and tools. And those were just some of my questions, like how we really, I was
From
like,
a UI perspective, I'm curious how much we want to be showing the tool chains on the front end within the task tool, similar to what you see inside of Cursor. When you say something, it says, I thought, I read these files, I scanned. We could be using this for our tool chains of giving this on the left side or the right side of these are the things I'm doing.
well, something that I've been thinking about, Sweets, just to kind of, I love this. I mean, the more UI, the merrier. Like, you can always take stuff away. It's not a huge change, so we can see what it feels like. But I like what you said about like, well, what do we want the user to see?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. There's a bunch of like it can't hurt to try it. If it's an easy ad, if it's a hard ad, then don't worry about it. But.
Random thought for now, not something I want to act on, but as you were talking, it came to my head. How I'm thinking about using these are, we are building AI agents for musicians. We are not trying to reinvent how chat components get built.
Correct.
And so this did not exist. And so we had to build it. Now that this exists, I'm trying to lean as much into use their components as possible. That way we're getting the tailwinds of every change that the AI SDK is making. It's less things that we have to maintain, less bugs. We get the benefits of like that stop button. I didn't even realize that stop button was going to get added in until it was already there, and it just works.
Yeah.
We didn't have to write the code for it. And so as often as possible, use AI SDK and use their AI tools, use their gateways, use their new features. That way we're constantly getting the tailwinds of what their venture-backed company is building. And we just stay focused on, okay, we need the specific tool chain. Vercel will never prioritize this tool chain for a release report. Neither will ChatGPT. We focus on those tool chains and let them do the heavy lifting of the core underlying AI tasks.
Cool.
I would love to hear from you. Your goals for this past week were leaderboard, get Fat Beats, 24, Rostrum, Tiger, and Cantor. Would you mind sharing and going over to or do you want me to go over and check out the leaderboard to see if they're there?
Yeah. I did not achieve the goals this week. I think maybe 1 or 2 people are now on the leaderboard. Let's see, 24.
Is 7 days the correct drop down?
Yeah. So
PB Friends was not on your list.
Nice. 24 is now up there. I think that's probably it.
Where's this is 24?
Yeah.
So you got 24.
And Peanut Butter Friends, nice.
PB Friends was not on your list, but you had said that. And then who else? Second in talent. No, Fat Beats, Rostrum, Tiger, and Cantor.
Nice. Rostrum.
There's Rostrum, but
no, but it says 0 days active. I don't know why it would be there then.
Say again.
Oh, it. Never mind.
Days active is not reflected in the scheduled actions, it seems.
Yeah. Okay. So he got he got his emails, but he didn't get he didn't go this, which is interesting because the emails is what caused him to onboard his team. So
we just updated the scheduled actions to use to use GPT-5 Mini today. Great. So tomorrow morning will be the first time that scheduled actions run. I mean, I guess there's still scheduled actions running on an hourly basis like yours today. Most of them run at the top of the day. So tomorrow we'll have the first run of scheduled actions running on GPT-5 Mini.
Awesome.
So I'll ask you the question first. You didn't pose it to me. Why were your goals not hit this week? If you had to state just one sentence, one concise sentence, why were the goals not hit this week?
I didn't do all the outreach that I could have. The blocker was Gemini 2.5 was too much of a downgrade for me to be comfortable getting people back on the app, knowing that it was going to stop them and just mess with them. So I didn't do as much outreach as I wanted to. With this upgrade though, to all the models, which I think was a great use of your time in the right direction. I'm now a lot more comfortable pushing people to get back on, knowing that they're going to have a good experience. So I can reach out to everybody today. That was the main blocker for me.
Big downgrade with Gemini. Gemini, more affordable. We thought we would build around it. New theory is GPT-5 is on par with pricing, way better model. We can do a drop down. Now we can do way better evals of testing tool chains, giving customers a default model that works well, giving customers the freedom to pick whatever model that they want, and not have to rely just on forcing people into a box of all musicians globally are going to be using GPT 2. Or Gemini 2.5 Flash, which is a relatively just not good model yet.
Quick question.
Mm-hmm.
And this goes back to your original. Well, actually, before I go off the track, are already know your answer for why you didn't hit your stuff. One, because you were sick. Two, because you shipped this other awesome feature that was not on the list, but I think you realized that it was important enough to move up the chain, um, and so that's all good. The next question is Veer Ball. Any thoughts on why he did not hit his? Do you think it's also Gemini and just it was tough to build with that model?
I think for both of us, we did not start with the end in mind. Neither of us have put in the reference document and had the model build from there. Both of us started from the start step and tried to change it step by step from there. I think starting with the end in mind is one of the 7 habits of highly effective people. And what that would look like is taking the document that you gave us multiple weeks ago that you've been running evals on, putting that into the tool chain, and having that as a reference when the tool chain gets called. We've had that document for weeks. We could have been using that doc and we still have not. And I think that is a single action that if we had taken and we can still take going into next week, it reorients how we are building so that the LLM knows what we're building towards. Right now, we're changing things without it knowing the final destination of where it needs to arrive.
For
And
both
so
the
changing
LLM and you,
Say
right?
again?
With that doc, yeah.
What was that?
It's both when you're not constantly going back to the endpoint and the reference, then the LLM is in the dark of what is success looks like, and you are in the dark of what success looks like. So you're both fighting running through fog.
So I think that was the reason neither Veerbal nor I achieved our goal. Not because I was sick, not because I got distracted on these other tasks, but because neither of us put the document that we were judging success on into the tool call at any point in our build this week. And I think that's the single thing that if either of us did, would have drastically changed the results of where we arrived today, and that's the single thing I would like to do to start coming into next week.
I love it. I know we're over time.
We're already over time?
I believe so, but we want to wait. You want to do 4
minutes?
We
are
over
time.
Oof. You want to call it at 3? I want to jump into the question that you started with, which was payments. Based on everything that we've discussed and where you now know you need to go, do you want to discuss payments or do you want to save it for next discussion?
What is the most important next step? What is the simplest thing such that by doing it, everything else becomes easier or unnecessary with regards to billing? I have an idea. I'd love to hear if you have any thoughts. What is the one thing such that by doing it, everything else becomes easier or unnecessary with regards to billing?
What is your idea?
I think tracking credits per signed in human. We need what we will be billing on is the credits that they're using initially. And in order to take their credit card, we need to accurately track the credits that they're using. So I think the simplest thing is start tracking the credits that people are using. We already have a credits table in Supabase. And so whether we count up from 0 or we count down from a limit, every single time a scheduled action runs, it should modify that table to change the credits. Every time someone sends a query, it should do that. Anytime someone uses the API, all of those should modify someone's credits. With credits, we can then filter the front-end UI. Do they have a paid amount of credits such that we can give them all the models? Have they run out of credits and we now have to force them on one specific model that they get when they run out of credits.
I like what you're saying. Yeah.
Tracking credits is the most important thing.
And then, yeah, associating credits to different things that cost different credits. I feel what you're saying.
Yep. How are we adding and subtracting?
Create any new artists after the first one. Or if you create new artists, it's a amount of credits. Is that what you're saying? Like all token usage, agent runs, whatever it is, scheduled actions.
And so I'm thinking what it should look like at the end of next week is your PFP that's in the bottom left of chat should have a progress bar spiral around it, just like 11 Labs, that starts off full. And then every single time you're using credits, it starts to get depleted. And that way you and I can see the credits that we're using. Everybody else can see the credits that they're using. It's publicly visible for everybody. That way the mental model can start to get filled of, okay, I have this credit bar and it's being used. We can see that on the back end and we can start to track it. That way we can keep moving forward with it. So I think tracking of credit usage is per artist is the most important, and how that gets done is PFP slider. What are your thoughts on that? PFP progress bar.
I think I agree with you. I think that we need to track per artist and per user, obviously, but like yeah, I agree with you.
I'll start with PFP for the account, and we can add more definition on why artists or how artists moving forward. So we're continuing our goals for next week. I'm still on release report. Same goals, and we're also adding tracking of credits, likely to me. And if it ends up being too much, I will try to give Veerball more of the release report once I've added the documents in.
Sweet. I like it. I have the same goals too. So
same exact Fat Beats, 24 Rostrum Tiger, Cantor inside of the leaderboard.
Yeah.
Copy. Anything? What else you want to chat about?
I think we're good, man.
Thank you all for sticking around this long. Make sure to give us a like, give us a repost. Let us know down below what model you're using. If you've tried the new model dropdown, are you liking GPT-5? Is there another model that you prefer? Do you want one of the paid models that we haven't included? Other than that, we will see you on Monday. Have a great weekend.